right, welcome to Those Guys podcast, where our definition of a bowl game is having a good bowl of chips while you're watching the game. Troy, how's it going? We're in episode 12. What's up, man?
Yeah, man. Obviously another milestone. So glad that we're pushing through and staying consistent with it. So I'm doing pretty well though. Just trying to keep up with trying to get myself excited for bowl season. You know, it's here officially, but I'm
Yes,
already I'm already ready for the first couple games to kind of kick off.
exactly. Same here. And there has been a few games, and we'll get into that, but I'm excited for bowl season as well. Well, Troy, of course, the first thing we have to talk about is the Heisman Trophy results. And of course, our guy, Diego Pavia's antics. So, as we know, Troy, Fernando Mendoza won the Heisman. He had a nice speech, and, of course, he was the front runner. Most people anticipated that he would win it. However, Diego Pavia came in second place. And just your thoughts, Troy, from how the voters awarded the trophy, and do you think that they made a bad decision, or what do you think about kind of how they voted and everything like that?
And first of all, a lot of guys at work giving me a hard time because I've been hyping up Pavia all year, right? So everyone was ready to give me a hard time about it. Man, what I will say is I like Fernando Mendoza. Obviously, early on,
Yes.
I watched a couple of his games. I didn't really know his personality or didn't really know what type of kid he was. I didn't watch it and I didn't watch him to that extent. But for me, he's a very likable guy, Chris. He's a good kid. Seems like he does things the right way. And let's be honest, the family dynamic, just the way he carries himself, that's going to pass the eye test, right? Obviously,
Yes.
the Heisman winner should be the best college athlete in college or in, NCAA football. But man, I will say I did think Pavia was better. And not to take anything away from Fernando, I think he's a phenomenal athlete. I think he's a great quarterback. I'm going to be rooting for him in the playoffs, and I hope to see him do well and maybe even win the national championship. I'd be pumped for him.
Yeah.
I just look at Pavia, just everything that he's accomplished as a whole, man. I think Fernando Mendoza doesn't take New Mexico Military Institute to a national championship and win it. I don't think Fernando Mendoza takes New Mexico State 2 years in a row to a bowl game and a 10-win season. I don't think Fernando Mendoza, takes a school like Vanderbilt and completely turn them around and put them in a position to where, they could have made the playoffs. They were right there. So I just don't think Fernando Mendoza is that guy. I mean, it's pretty impressive what Pavia has accomplished. Now, what I will say, as a Pavia fan, I was a little disappointed to kind of see how he handled everything. Man, you kind of gotta wear it on the chin. I know he's disappointed. He's a 23-year-old kid, and he's literally had to fight for everything, right? So, Chris, being from New Mexico, I mean, us athletes coming from that state, I mean, you're not going to get the first look. You're going to have to fight for everything that you get. Whether you go walk on somewhere, whatever the case may be, you're never going to get the first opportunities that some of these other kids do that come out of Texas or these bigger states, these bigger schools. So Diego Pavia should be proud of himself for what he's accomplished because he's accomplished so much. Like I said, I was a little disappointed of how he handled it just because I get it. You're disappointed. We've all been there. And, he finally made it to New York and was pretty close to getting the Heisman Award. And I get it. He feels like the voters didn't pick the right candidate for whatever reason. But man, I don't know. It was just kind of disappointing to see that. And I know it's going to be a lesson that he will learn from. He'll learn from this later on. He's already kind of tried to issue apologies and stuff like that. I get it. But yeah, so it was kind of, hopefully it's an waking moment for him.
Exactly, Troy, and I'm with you. I mean, of course, Fernando Mendoza, just an all-around excellent kid, and, he presents himself very well. And I think, with the Johnny Manziels of the past and other things going on in the NCAA over the years, Troy, I feel like this year they kind of picked more of somebody that they looked at as an ambassador of the game rather than the best overall player. And hey, Fernando Mendoza, he's a great player, but I think he fits the eye test, like you said, as an ambassador of the game. You could have him go to schools and speak to kids. You could put him on different shows and platforms, and he's going to say the right thing. He's just, he's a good look for college football, and he's a good look for the sport. But I'm with you, Troy. I think the best overall player was Diego Pavia. I mean, he had over 3,000 passing yards. He had close to 900 or past 800 rushing yards. He's won at every level. I mean, how many players can play at every level and make their team significantly better? Whether it's, JUCO national championship and then go to New Mexico State, turn our program around, right? We've been desperate for somebody to come in and, bring us to national prominence, and he did that. So, and then moving on to Vanderbilt, where we know for years they've been the weakest team in the SEC. And for him to beat prominent SEC programs and compete at that level, to me, that's the best player in college football. But again, you win with grace and you lose with grace. And like you said, Troy, I'm a little disappointed how he handled it. Matter of fact, Troy, I'm actually going to show his reaction to the Heisman. Oh, of course, this is what he posted on his social media right after he lost. He said, F all the voters, but family for life. And as you can see, a lot of people weren't thrilled with that. It just looked like he was being a sore loser, and that's just something that you shouldn't do, right? You got to win with grace. You got to show that even though you're disappointed, you respect the outcome of the trophy ceremony and what the voters decided to do. Again, Troy, this is what he issued later on. And, we could kind of read between the lines whether this is probably an AI statement or he genuinely meant this. But, I won't go through the whole post, but he basically said, being a part of the Heisman ceremony last night as a finalist was such an honor. Then he's talking about it as a competitor. You want to win in everything, and he didn't handle himself well with his emotions. I mean, I appreciated the apology, but I mean, I think the damage is done, Troy.
Yeah.
For me, I just think in the position he's in, he's already an interesting prospect simply because he doesn't have strong measurables. He doesn't have a powerful arm. He's a good athlete or a decent athlete, but he's not a freakish athlete like Lamar Jackson. And I mean, along with these antics, I just don't see how this is going to be good when it's time for the draft process, right? For the NFL. I mean, I think he went from maybe being a 4th round pick to potentially undrafted. So I don't know, Troy. I want to say he's just emotional and that he just has that kind of competitor mentality. But I just wish somebody around him would have took his phone and said, "Hey, we got bigger things to worry about with our future. We can't mess this opportunity up."
Yeah. Chris, as far as like the Heisman award ceremony goes, I mean, there's so much at stake at that point, right? Like you have to think that this game, I mean, or this trophy presentation is so much bigger than yourself. I mean, you're
Exactly.
representing Vanderbilt, a team that is so underrepresented in college football, right? Whether it's like in the playoff committee, whether, the Heisman ceremonies, whatever. But you're also representing, New Mexico. You're representing, New Mexico State. You're representing your peers, Albuquerque. These athletes, we like growing up. I mean, you're giving these athletes a chance to succeed and you show the world that New Mexico can be pretty serious when it comes to sports. That's what you're doing it for, right? So it's so much bigger than you at that moment. And once again, I still think he's, he did a lot of good things for the sport. He made it a fun year, and it's something that we followed him all throughout the year. I followed him all throughout his career. So it was a good way to kind of cap everything, but I wish he would have just handled that a little bit better. I was disappointed when they didn't call his name.
Sure.
I was. And I felt that disappointment. I can only imagine how he felt, but you can't let the emotions, get the best of you. And man, I do think kind of how his brothers carried themselves too. I do think that played a factor in a lot of the voters' decisions because things are about optics these days, right? How is it going to look to the outside world? So you could go out and say F all the haters and this and that, but man, that's not gonna get you anywhere. So I mean, sometimes you just have to wear it in the chin. But man, once again, I still like in kind of what you said about the NFL. Yeah, he has a unique playing style, and I've told people this too. Like, I mean, his playing style, he's comfortable in the pocket. He can run around the pocket, make plays happen. He's athletic, but that can only go so far in the NFL, man. With those big hits, every hit adds up. I don't care who you are. I mean, you look at these
Exactly.
guys, like Patrick Mahomes, like all those guys. It doesn't matter who you are. Like father time catches up to you. But like I said, man, I wish Diego the best. I'm looking forward to seeing him play in the bowl game. I'm looking forward to seeing him play in the Senior Bowl. And man, I'm looking forward to seeing him do some cool things in the NFL. Hopefully, he gets a shot and makes it interesting. Like I said, I'm still a Pavia fan, no matter what. So and like I said, he's young. He just needs to figure out how to control those emotions a little bit better, and stay off Twitter. Man, we've all done it. I know I've been heated at times, and I first thing you do is get on the phone and make a mistake. But man, unfortunately, he's under a microscope, and that's just kind of how it went.
Exactly, Troy. I mean, also he needs to stay out of the clubs, right?
Yeah,
and not put F Indiana on the banner when they're
yeah,
bringing the drinks or whatever. But anyways, though, Troy, I'm the same way. I mean, I'm still a Pavia fan because rooting for him is rooting for New Mexico, our home state.
yeah.
And it's important again to shed a light on the talent and just the good things that are happening in the state of New Mexico in terms of high school football and the development of our athletes, right? I
And it
feel
was
like
kind of
Troy
cool
the
to
way.
see his.
Oh, go ahead.
I mean, it was kind of cool to see his high school highlights during his like little highlight reel during the Heisman
That was
ceremony
awesome.
because it featured, New Mexico high schools. Like you got to see all that stuff. And to me, that was cool because we played Volcano Vista whenever I was down there. So it's cool to see all that stuff. You know what I mean? And that's what I mean that like this was so much bigger than just one person. So obviously, his legacy, he's paved the way for these athletes and he showed that like you could be completely a complete underdog and succeed in college football, especially these days. Yeah,
And Troy, I think that's the way that Diego can make it right is serve as a liaison for high school football players coming up in New Mexico. And of course, whatever he decides or whatever the capacity that he wants to do it in is fine. But I just think with his platform, he can do wonders for developing talent or at least giving them a spotlight in New Mexico, right?
definitely, absolutely. He's still gonna come on our show one of these days. I don't care what anyone says.
We're gonna figure out a way to get him on here. Yep.
Even if you got to whip out that wallet, man.
Hey, man, there's not much in it, but we'll see what we can do. All right, Troy. Switching gears to another major story, the Sharon Moore situation. I mean, we got some more details from the last show. We saw that he was charged with breaking and entering, and I mean, some of the details, wow. But for our fans out there, we're actually going to play a clip from YouTube so you could kind of see what's going on with Sharon Moore.
Moore. And that include Moore, his former mistress, who had broken up with him earlier that week, quote, barging his way in. He went over in the kitchen, pulled out butter knives and kitchen scissors. Quote, I'm going to kill myself. I'm going to make you watch. My blood is on your hand. You ruined my life. That obviously precipitated the call to the police, which led to Moore being arrested and jailed. Sharon Moore, who appeared on that video conference.
Wow, Troy, thoughts on that?
Yeah, man, it's pretty wild. Kind of, I think they put in good perspective. I mean, like a week prior to that, 2 weeks prior to that, he was coaching his team against, Ohio State. So, it's weird to see how fast everything kind of turned upside down for him. So that just goes to show you that, man, anyone could kind of be in a bad spot like that with just a few bad decisions. So it's sad to see just because, I mean, he had his dream job. He had a family. He has kids. And from my understanding, his wife is still, supporting him. There was a photo of them together walking into his lawyer's office, taken a few days ago. I mean, hopefully they could work things out. If he's going through I know he has to, for his parole stuff, he has to actually go to some mental health treatment, like little programs. So hopefully he goes through that and things get better for him, man. But it's tough, especially this day and age when something like that happens and you're such a high profile person. I mean, anywhere you look, your face is going to be blasted up on social media, on YouTube. I mean, like on everywhere, basically on every platform. And you just have to hear people speculate if the facts aren't out or, just kind of judge you off that. It sucks for anyone involved in that. So I don't know.
I agree, Troy. It's unfortunate for everybody involved, and I don't know either, Troy. I mean, from the outside looking in, you think this guy had it made. I mean, he's coaching one of the most prominent programs or one of the most notable programs in college football. He has a wife and kids. I mean, you would think this guy has it all, and you know what happened. You know, you wonder what's going on with his mental health that pushed him to this point where he was willing to risk everything he's worked for his whole career for these decisions, right?
Yeah.
So
Poor choices,
it
man.
just
That's poor choices is what it came down to. So,
I agree, Troy. I mean, your choices lead up to you. I mean, and that's in everything, right?
mhm.
You make poor choices, it eventually is going to consume you, and then it becomes who you are, right? So that's just a lesson for, I think, everybody, right? That even if things are going good, or even if you get everything you wanted, you still have to do the work of making good choices, and you still have to do the work of building your character. Because without character, you know, you're going to make a bad choice, and then you could be back to square one, and everything
Yeah.
will be taken from you. So,
I
yeah,
don't know if this is true, Chris, or not, but like allegedly the school has been investigating this stuff in the past. Don't know if that's true or not, but man, if it is, like shame on them for letting it get to this point.
exactly.
So we'll see. We'll see what happens, man.
Exactly. It'll be interesting to see how this plays out. Along the lines of Michigan, Troy, what coaches do you think would be good suitors for the Michigan job? I know a popular name out there is Kenny Dillingham from ASU. I know he's been linked to the Michigan job, but from what I heard is he's trying to work on an extension with Arizona State. He likes it there. He's from Arizona, so I don't know how likely it would be for him to leave and go to Michigan. I feel like Michigan would have to have, you know, the offer of the century, right? For him to leave, but who knows? We've seen crazier things happen, but I like him if he went to Michigan. What are some other potential coaches, Troy, you could see at
Well,
Michigan?
man, just to kind of add on to the Kenny Dillingham thing, yeah, I've been seeing his name thrown around there a lot, and it's kind of one of those things. Yeah, he went to high school there. I mean, he's lived there his entire life. He has his family down there, so it's just all going to depend on is the name Michigan and the money. Is it worth leaving paradise in the Southwest to go up to the cold weather to coach the Wolverines? So, man, I will say money's not everything. I know they're pretty happy with him at ASU. They're working on securing a new deal for him, and I know he's happy there. But I wouldn't mind seeing him go to Michigan at all. But honestly, Chris, I have no idea who's going to take that job if Dillingham doesn't. Just because this is a terrible year to fire your coach. I mean, the coaching carousel was crazy and it's still kind of continuing to move around. So, man, honestly, good question. I'm not entirely sure who I could see fit that program right now besides Dillingham. So, I don't know. We'll just have to wait and find out.
Do you go, Troy, do you go the NFL route? Say the Ravens fire John Harbaugh. I know, of course, Jim Harbaugh he won a national championship. He had a lot of success over there. But do you go with his brother, John Harbaugh, if the Ravens decide to part ways? Or do you go with another NFL coach, maybe an NFL coordinator? Or do you keep it in the college realms?
Now that you brought up Harbaugh, that wouldn't be a bad fit for them, honestly. I
Mm.
mean, it's obviously worked good for them in the past with Jim Harbaugh. So, whenever he got let go from the 49ers, that was a spot that he landed at. And I mean, it's worked out. So that's an interesting name. Honestly, once again, yeah, I mean, you could go the NFL route, but I don't know. I don't know what they're going to do, man, especially with this. I mean, this late, they're already kind of behind. Yeah, I don't know. I think we're gonna know a little bit more these next couple days.
I saw something funny the other day, Trey. They were like, hey, Tom Brady should take over. And I'm like, I don't think Tom Brady would ever go into coaching, but
No, man, coaching's a different game. You know what I mean?
it
And if
is.
you look at some of these coaches' backgrounds, some of them never played college football.
Yeah.
So Kenny Dillingham, he wasn't playing college football. So a lot of these coaches, man, they either played at the D3 level, but I mean those make some of the best coaches. So yeah, we'll see, man. We'll see how everything kind of plays out these next couple days. It's gonna get interesting, for sure. I was kind of thinking, I was like, I don't know, do they make and this is kind of an unpopular opinion here, right? What is his name? Coach DJ Durkin, the one that took over for Auburn.
Oh,
He was
yeah.
he was the interim head coach at Auburn this for the last couple games. I was just thinking because he was the defensive coordinator there when Harbaugh was there. And then he left to take the job in Maryland. Now that Maryland thing kind of blew up in his face. I don't know how that's still viewed, but he's a good coach. He has ties to Michigan. I don't know. I just don't know. So
I got the perfect candidate, Troy, your favorite coach.
who's this?
Old Mike Locksley.
Man, yeah, I don't know about that. So I think he's having issues finding consistency in Maryland. So, but man, we'll see, man. One coach, Chris, and I'm not saying for the Michigan job. I mean, it's probably
Oh,
once
here
again
we
an
go.
unpopular opinion. But if you look down the street, you have Chris Creighton at Eastern Michigan University. And
You went in a different direction than I thought you were
completely
going to
different
go.
direction, but hear me out on this, Chris. And like I said, this is very unpopular.
Yes.
People are going to slap me for saying this, but Eastern Michigan was probably one of the worst programs in FBS at one point.
Okay.
Chris Creighton has completely turned that program around. They had a losing season this year. I think they went 5-7 or 4-8, one of the two. But the last couple years, they've consistently have gone to bowl games. That is hard to do at Eastern Michigan. That is tough. But from my understanding, players love to play for him. He's a hell of a recruiter because, dude, at one point, Eastern Michigan, they didn't have the facilities. They didn't have the attendance. They didn't have a great facility. As a matter of fact, Chris, go ahead and pull up Eastern Michigan's football stadium right now on the computer. But man, they didn't have much of anything. And, look down the street. I mean, he could put together a pretty good staff. He could put together a pretty good team if he has the resources. Like I said, he's a player's coach, man. People love to play for him, and he's done a pretty good job down there. So, well, I'm not saying that's the direction they're gonna head to. That's just an option.
And then here you go, Troy. Here is Eastern Michigan Stadium.
Yeah, there you go. So they got the gray turf there. They don't have the Smurf turf, but
That's
they've
pretty
dumped some
cool.
money into I mean, man, they've dumped some money into the facilities. They made it a little bit I mean, they made it pretty nice for the most part. They still don't get the attendance there. But man, Chris Creighton, he's a good dude. And for those of you guys who don't know, he's been there for quite some time. So he's one of those guys that, man, his name never comes up for these big jobs. To me, that's impressive to take a team like that and make them like a consistent winner. And as a matter of fact, Chris, they went down to Tempe, Arizona, maybe 4 years ago, and they beat the Sun Devils.
See?
So yeah, so I mean, man, they've won big games in the past. They've always played Minnesota tough. Oh, they're a pretty good team. I think right now they're kind of hurting just because like with the NIL game and stuff like that, it's changed a little bit. But man, he could coach some good football. So Chris Creighton, that's someone to pay attention to.
Definitely. Troy, what's funny is I thought you were going to bring up our Those Guys Coach of the Year. I thought you were going to bring up your guy, Jason Eck. I was like, Troy is definitely. Go ahead.
Man, I want him to stay in the Southwest. I want him to stay in that area. So he's a fun coach to watch. And I'm done promoting him. So just because I don't want UNM to lose him, unless he lands it's like Arizona State or something like that. So he's a fun coach to watch, man. And I want him to stay in that region.
Definitely. Hey, speaking of coaches, Troy, I don't want to tell our viewers the name of the coach, but Troy, can you kind of tease what we have in the works?
Yeah. So we got confirmation that we're going to have our second guest finally.
Whoop, whoop.
Yep. So it's a big deal because this coach who is coming on the show, he brings a lot of experience. He coached in high school, but also coached at the collegiate level and has completely built a program from scratch. So here in a couple of weeks, probably after the holidays, we definitely look forward to bringing him on the show and kind of getting to hear his story and hear what it's like to build a program from the ground up. So
that's exciting, Troy. That's going to be an exciting interview. And
yeah,
for the viewers out there, you're going to want to tune into this. You're not going to want to miss this. It's going to be good. So that's exciting, Troy. Anytime we could bring a guest on, definitely elevates the show and just elevates our viewer experience, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, moving on, Troy, how about those FCS and Division II playoffs? They're getting down to what? For the FCS, the semifinals, and then for Division II, they're already in the championship game.
Championship, NAIA championship game.
Oh yeah,
Man, yeah,
NAIA too.
we're gonna have a good game against Montana State. So that's a semifinal game. It was a close one throughout the year or at the end of the year. So it's gonna be another close matchup, man. I'm looking forward to seeing that. So, Chris, who do you have winning that game?
Montana versus Montana State. You know what, Troy? Let's go with the Grizz.
Yeah,
I want to see the Grizz get to the championship. I feel like they're a really fun team. What
man,
about
I'll
you?
tell you what, Bobby Hawk, I like him a lot as Montana's coach, and they're due for a championship up there. So they always get close to making the championship game, or they'll make it and lose. But man, I really want to see, that program kind of get on top again.
Exactly. And then on the other side of the bracket, Troy, I want to see Villanova get to the championship. I was watching their game against Tarleton State,
Yeah,
and it was a really tight, just fun game. I mean, I really like at the end when there was that freshman receiver and he kind of went down right away and he was short of the goal line. Or not goal line, but he was short of the first down line, right? And
yeah.
it was 4th and 1, and then the next play he made a really, really good play and he dove to get the first down and end the game. So that was cool. I want to see a Montana versus Villanova FCS championship.
And Chris, that's cool too, just because it's switched up. So we don't have the North Dakota State, the South Dakota State matchup.
Exactly.
It's not the same thing. So, yeah, man, Illinois State, both of those teams on that side of the bracket, man, Illinois and Villanova. I mean, those are two teams that you don't really see go this far typically. So yeah, I wouldn't mind seeing a Montana Villanova matchup at all.
Exactly. We'll see, Troy. We'll have to stay tuned. Troy, let's go to Division II and see what's going on with the Division II championship. So, anyways, Troy, so the Division II championship, it's Harding and
Ferris State.
Ferris State, yes. So,
Yeah.
but anyways, yeah. So Troy, you were talking about Harding, and I believe you predicted, right, that Harding was going to make the championship.
Yeah. So Harding plays hard, man. So, yeah, I just had a feeling that with their offense, their style of offense at the D2 level, man, they run an option style offense, and whenever it's firing on all cylinders, man, it looks great. So, but Ferris State kind of runs a similar type of offense. They can sling the ball around pretty good if they need to. It's going to be a tough matchup, man. This Division II national championship game is going to be worth the watch. I know it's going to be played down in Texas. I think it's going to be a very high scoring game, Chris. Look, go back to the bracket for a second.
Okay, hold on.
And I want you guys to look at this semi-final round score. Ferris State put up 49 points. Harding put up 49 points. I could see this being a 49-42 game. I mean, it's going to be that close. So these guys are constantly putting up a ton of points, and scroll, Chris, if you can scroll down a little bit. I want to see what Harding put up against Northwest Missouri State. There you go, and then scroll a little bit to the right.
Okay.
Yeah,
38.
Yeah, they put up 38 points against Northwest Missouri State. Northwest Missouri State is a tough school, tough defense. So if you're putting up that many points against a school like that, man, your offense is good. So, and same goes to Ferris State. Ferris State has been lighting people up all year, and even in the snow. So it's cold up there in Michigan, but this team is still playing hot.
Troy, what I like about our podcast is it's really forced me this year to watch some Division II football. And I will say this, it's good football.
Yeah.
Those of you, if you get an opportunity to watch a Division II game, watch it. It's not what you think. It's not a letdown. It's not a letdown of talent. It is good, physical, fast, high-flying football. It is very entertaining.
Yeah, I agree, man. And, I started my career off at the Division II level, so I saw some really good football being played there.
Hey, Troy, do you want to talk a little bit about the NAIA championship coming up?
Yeah, man. So the NAIA championship, I believe that one's going to be played in Texas too. So shout out to Benedictine College. Go Ravens. They had a heck of a year. They made it to the semifinals, then lost to a conference opponent in the playoffs, Grandview, who's in Des Moines, Iowa. Grandview is a tough NAIA school, and the reason why I say that is they have beaten Division I schools in the past. I know whenever I was going to school at Benedictine for a little bit, they had beat Drake that year. So Grandview, once again, filled with a lot of good athletes. There's a lot of good football. They will be playing Kaiser, which is a school in Florida. I think they're a newer program, but they are fast. So the last time I've watched Kaiser play, it was against Arizona Christian in the playoffs a couple years ago. And man, it was it was tough. Just because, like I said, I mean, Kaiser has some good athletes. There's some good athletes down there in Florida. So they don't have to go very far to recruit, right? But man, it's going to be a good matchup. I think they stream it on the NAIA football website. So if you have an opportunity, make sure to check it out. It's once again some good football. The only difference between NAIA and NCAA is you're basically watching D2 FCS football on the NAIA level. All it is they just don't follow the same rules and regulations as NCAA does when it comes to the academic standpoint of it, the scholarship amounts and everything like that. So it's just a little different things there, but man, good football. Check it out.
Exactly. And Troy, when the day of the national championship, what we should do is we should make a post with the link so that our
Yeah.
viewers can watch the NAIA championship.
Make it easier for them. Yeah. Hey, Chris, go to the D3 bracket.
Okay, D3 bracket. And Troy, who's playing in the D3? Who are the main teams in the D3 bracket?
I want to say it's some newer schools here. It's not your Mount Unions and Wisconsin Whitewaters. That has died down. Even the University of Mary Hardin Baylor. I checked this past weekend. I couldn't remember the actual teams that made it.
Okay, here we go, Troy. Let me post it. Let me share it right now so then our viewers can see.
I'll be honest this year, Chris, with the D2 games and the D1 AA games and the D1 games going on, it has been hard for me to follow up with the D3 games happening just because they're usually happening at the same time as all the other games that I'm trying to watch. So it's been tougher for me to follow up with this year, but around this time, since everything kind of slows down, the Stag Bowl, which is like their national championship, is usually a fun one to watch. Yep. Okay, so you have go down, Chris, real quick.
Wait, John Hopkins, Troy, the school known for their medicine program. They have a football team.
I don't know if it's that John Hopkins or not, but
I'll have
yes,
to look into that.
I want to say for some reason I want to say that this one's yeah. No, that's man, North Central that they were in the national championship last year, and I want to say they won it. So and then I believe that's University of Wisconsin River Falls.
Okay.
I think it'll be them in North Central, man.
You think so?
Yes. So once again, haven't watched a lot of D3 football, but we definitely want to give these guys a shout out because next year we're going to keep an eye on a lot of these D3 teams.
Exactly. So yeah, exciting stuff, Troy. And hey, I'm with you. I'll go with North Central and UW River Falls. And
Yeah,
you know what? National championship winner prediction, Troy. UW River Falls. Let's go.
All right, I'm going to go the opposite. I'm going to say North Central.
Awesome.
North Central.
All right. Good deal, Troy. All right, Troy. So now let's pivot all the way back to the Giants, right? FBS football. And let's look at the upcoming bowl games. And then
for this week, right? Because there's a lot of them. Okay.
We could look at the ones for this week. But I have a bone to pick about a few things, Troy, once we start talking about it. So tomorrow, Troy, is the Salute to Veterans Bowl. Troy versus Jacksonville State.
Yep,
so,
that'll be a good one, man. Jacksonville State, they've had a pretty solid year. These last couple years, they've done really well. They made their conference championship. and have they fell short against Kennesaw State this year, but man, they're a tough school. So
Exactly. And then you have the Kier Bowl, Troy, Old Dominion versus South Florida in
not too
Orlando.
crazy
So
about this one. I wanted South Florida to maybe play someone a little bit better. Old Dominion, man, they're a team that I don't really follow up with much. I don't know if it's just because they're completely out of the way or they just, they don't play a schedule where like the teams that they do schedule are teams that I just don't really watch as much. But once again, I was hoping USF would play someone a little bit of a higher caliber.
and then Troy in the 68 Ventures Bowl, is that Louisiana Lafayette or Monroe?
Yeah, it's going to be Louisiana Lafayette. So, and
Okay.
then we got the Delaware, the Blue Hands. Now, this is kind of cool, Chris. And the reason why I say this is Delaware's first bowl game ever. So,
First year FBS, right?
first year FBS, they got into a bowl game. First year in Conference USA, they did really well. Their coach made a terrible call against UTEP, though. They were destroying UTEP. It was like 58 to, I don't know, it was a blowout. But the coach went ahead and called a timeout just to kick a field goal with like a couple seconds left. So we'll find that clip next time and we'll show it on here. But yeah, Coach Scotty Walden did not like that at all. That was kind of the most memorable game that I watched of Delaware. So, but yeah, congrats to the Blue Hens.
Yes, and then Troy, we have the Xbox Bowl
I'm telling you,
against
dude, that would
Arkansas
be a fun
State and
bowl,
Missouri.
man. That would be a fun bowl to go to. Going to the Ford Center, it's indoors. You're gonna have, two decent teams play. So, yeah, that'd be a fun one. Missouri State just lost their head coach to Coastal Carolina, so we'll see. I could see Arkansas State winning that game. So, who do you have?
I'll say Arkansas State. Both of these teams, Troy, they're Sunbelt teams, right?
Missouri State is in the Conference USA.
Or excuse me, Arkansas State's Sunbelt, right? And Missouri State's Conference USA.
Yep. So, and then Chris,
See.
you know who coaches Arkansas State, right?
Who coaches them?
Butch Jones.
Oh,
Yeah.
really?
Yeah. So, man, every now and then it's cool to see the old Butch Jones kind of spiraling out on the sidelines. So, yeah, I mean, yeah, it was cool. I missed that dude in the SEC for sure.
Definitely. And then, of course, Troy, your school, joking, Kennesaw State, right? Versus Western Michigan.
Yeah, man, I will say NMSU losing to Kennesaw State, that one hurt, man. That went down to the last minute, and yeah, it was a killer. But the Myrtle Beach Bowl, man, it's a cool bowl to go to, especially this time of year. It's probably going to be warm down there, beautiful weather. They're going to be playing on the teal turf. Chris, pull up Coastal Carolina's football stadium right now, but I don't know if people have an idea that Boise State's not the only Smurf turf anymore. So we also have the surf turf over here at Coastal Carolina. So yeah, it looks like you're right on the beach. So
Oh, man. Wow, that is nice. That is really cool. Hold on, Troy. Let me pull it up. Wow, that's impressive. Teal turf. Huh?
teal turf. Oh, I'm going to apologize to the viewers that Chris doesn't want to show you this teal turf.
No, it's getting there. Here we go. Brooks Stadium at Benton.
Yeah, man, and that's what I'm saying. Like these Sunbelt schools, these conference, like everyone is making their facilities really nice. So, when you hear these small school names and stuff, yeah, great. But man, they've made the jump to FBS. They've invested in their programs, and yeah, there's some cool football being played at these stadiums. So if you're ever in the area, go check it out.
Definitely. Troy, something though, I mean, I'm excited to watch these bowl games coming up, but something that annoyed me was at the LA Bowl and the lack of attendance and the lack of fans going to the bowl game. And for me, Troy, I don't know, like, should these major cities host bowl games outside of like the college football playoffs? Because that's a disgrace. You put together this bowl game, all the stakeholders that go into putting together a bowl game, then you have limited attendance. I don't know if it's the stadium itself, the location, or what, but why are we having bowl games that barely anybody's going to?
Yeah, man, I don't know if it's because the playoffs have kind of overshadowed these bowls a little bit, but I don't know. For guys like us, we like bowl games. We like just checking out different matchups, different teams. I don't know if it's people just would rather watch it at home or they just don't want to spend money. Like I don't know. But man, I will say if you have the opportunity, go check out these bowl games because it's worth it. It's a fun experience. It's a good time. It's a celebration for these teams that have had successful seasons. Even if it's a team that you don't typically root for, man, pick a team and see what happens. So, because usually it's the final game for a lot of these guys, and you want to make it like a memorable one. And fans play a big role in these games. So
Look at
it's
this,
always cool to
Troy.
go to a bowl game and see a cool atmosphere. But yeah, that's wild, man. And this is like Washington State, or I'm sorry, University of Washington and Boise State.
Yeah, no,
Granted, it was kind of a butt kicking, but man, those are two big teams. And
exactly.
yeah, so I don't know, man. That's wild. That's wild to
Troy,
me.
Troy, I wish we were there because I would have definitely asked, can we go down to the, front row or down to,
Yeah.
the lower bowl seats? Because at that point, you might as well, if you're going to go and stay, they might as well give you a VIP experience.
Chris, like I'll say, like even okay, take notes from like the New Orleans Bowl because even if you get smaller teams playing in that bowl game, if there's a Louisiana school, whether it's Tulane, whether it's Louisiana Lafayette, Louisiana Monroe, whichever school, man, people are gonna support those teams in Louisiana. They're gonna show up and they're gonna want to show out. So there's good football being played in these bowl games. You're going to see some high caliber players play. I mean, it's a fun environment, right? So obviously it doesn't count it'll count on the record, but man, like they're already bowl eligible. So they're already there playing the bowl game like this. It's not like they're going to be going to the playoffs or anything like that, but man, check it out. It's a good time. And, Chris, honestly, I wish they would do away with like the bowl tie-ins
Yeah.
because and was almost stuck in the New Mexico Bowl. If these teams wouldn't have backed out, like like the Notre Dames, the Iowa States, if they wouldn't have backed out from these bowls, UNM would have been stuck in the New Mexico Bowl. They wouldn't have had a shot to go to the Cactus Bowl. So I wish they would just do away with the bowl tie-ins and just select good matchups. You know what I mean? So just get everyone who has a winning record or everyone who meets the criteria and, match them up from there.
Exactly, Troy. I mean, you brought up some good points, and I'm thinking that would be a way to kind of fix the bowl situation is number one, cut a few of the bowls, get rid of the bowl tie-ins. And then two, don't put a team in a bowl in their same exact stadium. That's not cool. You want the players to be able to travel and have that experience. But I would say too, try to put them in a bowl that's not ridiculously far from where they're at so that the fans could travel. We saw that firsthand, Troy, in 2017 with New Mexico State when they were in the Arizona Bowl. Hey, Tucson's what, Troy, like 2.5 hours away? Half of
3 hours.
half of Las Cruces went to the game and we packed out the stadium and it was great. So I agree that, again, don't put UNM at the New Mexico Bowl, but put them in a bowl where fans from Albuquerque could get down there, driving or, even a really close flight. That way you don't have empty seats because when you put a team in the Bahamas or something, how many fans are going to really be able to get to the Bahamas?
Yeah, I don't get that, man. But yeah, no. I mean, it was kind of like when New Mexico State went to, and don't get me wrong, I was pumped up to see them play in that bowl game in Michigan. So the Quick Lanes Bowl, I was pumped up for it. I thought that was a cool bowl for them to go to, and I was excited. They won that game against Bowling Green, but how many NMSU fans were really there? I don't know. I wasn't able to see it. They didn't show a lot of crowd shots or anything like that, but man, it makes it tough to travel. I would say, obviously you want to go somewhere where it's better weather, fun to actually play football. Cause like I said, that famous Idaho Potato Bowl, man, and sometimes it is too cold to go out there.
You know what, Troy? Is the famous Idaho Potato Bowl, it's still a bowl, right?
Yeah. Yeah, it is.
Well, if they keep it for the foreseeable future, Troy, we're going to have to make our way up to Idaho and go get us a baked potato before the game or during the game, huh?
For sure.
Definitely. All right, Troy. So now we're to the final segment, which is, hey, Troy, why don't we let the viewers know about some of the accomplishments of the podcast? Because even though, we're the ones facilitating or hosting the podcast, it's really the viewers that drive the podcast, right? and their interactions with us. So, Troy, could you touch on a couple of the accomplishments over our 12 episodes?
Yeah, man, I think looking back at this entire season, I mean, the teams that we followed up with, like, even if you talk about the Division II schools like Pitt State, Nebraska Kearney, the biggest one, Northeastern State Oklahoma, NSU. Those guys have had like the biggest turnaround in Division II, and they've had a successful year. They had their first bowl win, and I don't know how long, but man, between that, following the Pavia story and the Vanderbilt story, I mean, we were talking about how they were going to be, playing for a playoff spot this entire year. And, man, they came close. They're playing in a solid bowl game. The Jason X story, Chris. I
Yeah,
mean,
what he did at
we
UNM. Jeez.
yeah, we knew what he was gonna do early on, and man, sure enough, everything has kind of played out the way it was supposed to. But yeah, man, I mean, we've had a lot of wins there, and I had a lot more kind of written down the other day. I just can't think of them right now. But yeah, so I mean, man, we're in the right direction. The teams that we are following up with, and the things that we are noticing, they are taking place in college football. So it's cool to see that. We're just not
Exactly,
those
Troy.
guys talking out of their butts, right?
No, Troy, and I think something that we talked about in one of our first episodes was just how we felt like you don't see the prolific offenses a lot, particularly in FBS. We're just not seeing guys throw for 400 and 500 yards like they used to, or, put up over 700 yards of total offense like we grew up watching college football. I don't know if defenses are getting better, but we're definitely seeing more competitive, low-scoring games. I know that's something we talked about, and sure enough, you look at the Heisman Trophy ceremony, Troy. I mean, these guys, the guys are the Heisman candidates. They had good years, but can you really say any of them stats were super prolific? Like,
No.
we're used to seeing, like, the RG3s, the Sam Bradfords, that are putting up video game like stats, and you're just not seeing that anymore.
Once again, man, I think it goes back to player development, something that we talk
True.
about
Yeah.
all the time is people just aren't sticking around at these schools and developing in these programs anymore. They're going off to the next best thing. Yeah, I mean, I think there's a lot of factors that play into it. I do think a lot of this is faster now. Like these seasons feel like they're going by so much faster. I just don't know if it's because of all the moving pieces with like the NIL stuff. You have to,
Sure.
just keeping up with all that. People opting out, teams opting out of bowl games, and I'm hoping that we don't lose a lot of these bowl games, Chris. I think you could do do away with a couple of them, but
Yeah, a couple.
it's cool to see that, people are investing in the infrastructure of these stadiums, especially these older ones. But another thing that I'm a little worried about too is like when you see remodels taking place like at USC and even Vandy, San Jose State, they're more geared towards like, it's almost weird. It's almost geared towards like sports betting, geared
Oh,
towards like
yeah.
people really aren't there for the football game. They're there to like, I don't know. It just it's almost like a restaurant or like a cafe type of you know what I mean, like a lounge area. So, like I know San Jose State has like a couple, like they knocked down one section of their stadium completely and built like some like little plaza there. So hopefully we don't see it go to that direction, a whole bunch. But yeah, we'll see, man. I am looking forward to
We'll
next year
see.
a little bit. I think we were able to focus a little bit more. I know I was, at least, on these games, and I'm excited to kind of see what happens next year.
Same here, Troy. What I'm excited about coming up, Troy, is our speaker series. I mean, we started it off with Aiden Johns at Dakota State and, followed up with him and how Dakota State's doing. And I'm excited just to bring in more guests, Troy, and really kick that off. I think that's going to be an exciting dynamic of our show, and I feel like our viewers are going to really like that.
Yeah, I agree, man. I think it's gonna be fun, and I'm excited for it. And I know we have a lot of friends back home that are excited for it. So thank you guys for continuing to support us and and watch the show. Just continue to like, subscribe. Once again, we're not doing this to just become famous or anything like that. We just hope you guys enjoy the content, and we just hope that you guys can start enjoying college football the way that we do, and don't take this sport for granted. So
Exactly. No, it's been an enjoyable ride for our first of season, Troy, and I'm excited to see how we grow this platform and all the really awesome things we're gonna do. And just to what I love about our show, Troy, is we advocate and we try to shed light on Division II programs, on NAIA football, on Division III football. I think that is going to be more of an emphasis moving forward, is what's going on in the D3 realm and what's going on in the NAIA realm, and really shed light on just really cool things happening at those areas of college football. Of course, we'll touch on happenings in FBS, but, college football is not just FBS, right? It's not just Texas, LSU, and Penn State. There's so many programs across the country that deserve attention and have really, really awesome atmospheres.
And then with that being said, now the show's going to completely shift over towards college basketball. No, I'm just
Oh,
joking.
geez. I was like, wait,
no,
what?
Heck no. But no, man, I think the guest series is going to be pretty cool, and I'm looking forward to it. Obviously, we won't be able to record as much, but I think the quality would be much better. So we look forward to that. And yeah, so just thank you guys.
And then, of course, the special part of the off season is going to be when we have Troy doing all sorts of dares, like shaving his head. Yeah, like shaving his head bald, or trying to wrestle with an alligator, stuff like that. Isn't that right, Troy? Didn't you sign up for that?
No, there will be no wrestling with an alligator or anything like that. So, I thought you were gonna say that you were gonna like butt chug a beer in front of everybody or something like that. I don't know.
Jeez, what?
So, but now, guys, thank you guys for tuning in, and yeah, let's just keep making this podcast a good one.
Thank you, viewers, and stay tuned.